April 7, 2024. Reality TV star and college professor Wendy Osefo reports a burglary of over $450,000 in designer bags and jewelry. But just days later, social media proves something shocking. The very items she claimed were stolen are still in her possession. Investigators quickly uncover a trail of suspicious receipts, false insurance claims, and staged damage. Now, Wendy faces multiple felony charges for insurance fraud and conspiracy, and the question on everyone's mind: will fame or education protect her from serious jail time? Stick around, because the full story is even more unbelievable than it sounds. Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie recently found themselves in hot water after being arrested for insurance fraud, sparking questions about whether her citizenship could be at risk. The situation came to light following a press conference and a detailed TMZ report. On the night of April 7, 2024, deputies responded to the Osefos' home on Turnberry Court in Finnburg after Edward reported a burglary. The couple, who lived there with their 3 school-aged children, had been vacationing in Jamaica from April 2 to April 7, leaving their house unattended with no house sitter. They claimed that designer handbags and jewelry worth over $200,000 were stolen from the master bedroom. However, investigators later discovered social media posts showing Wendy wearing some of the very pieces she had reported missing, including a diamond anniversary band, raising serious doubts about the legitimacy of the burglary claim. Investigators uncovered that the Osefos had provided receipts dating back to 2018 to support their claims of stolen items, but email addresses on the receipts raised suspicions of a fabricated story. Following a detailed investigation by local detectives in coordination with the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office, it became evident that Wendy and Eddie Osefo had staged the burglary and submitted a false police report in an attempt to defraud their insurance companies. As a result, a grand jury indicted the couple. Wendy Osefo faces 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and 1 count of making a false statement to a police officer. The investigation revealed that on April 8, 2024, the Osefos filed 3 separate insurance claims related to the alleged theft with Travelers Insurance, Jewelers Mutual Insurance, and Homesite Insurance Company. Additionally, Mr. Osefo provided recorded statements to 2 of Edward Osefo provided recorded statements to the insurers detailing the alleged stolen items, denying that any had been returned. He failed to disclose to Homesite and Jewelers Mutual that he had also filed a claim with Travelers, despite both Edward and Wendy signing a notarized sworn statement of loss claiming $2,500 for building damage and an estimated $450,000 for personal property. While some may see insurance fraud as a victimless crime, it actually impacts everyone through higher premiums, which is why authorities take such offenses seriously. TMZ reports that Real Housewives of Atlanta star Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie were formally booked on criminal fraud charges. According to documents obtained by TMZ, Wendy is facing 16 charges in total, including 7 felonies, for allegedly submitting false or misleading information in their insurance claims. Wendy Osefo now faces multiple charges, including more than $300 in fraud-related counts and a misdemeanor for making a false statement to a police officer. The couple was booked Thursday night in Westminster, Maryland. Authorities report that the Osefos claimed their bedroom had been ransacked following a trip to Jamaica in April of last year, allegedly losing several designer bags and jewelry. However, a Carroll County Sheriff's deputy noted that Wendy was later seen in a social media post wearing a diamond ring she had reported as stolen, raising serious questions about the legitimacy of their burglary claim. Further investigation into the Osefos' insurance claims revealed a troubling pattern that raised serious doubts about the legitimacy of their reported losses. Many of the items that Wendy and Edward Osefo had claimed were stolen during the alleged burglary were, in fact, purchased and later returned to stores for full refunds. This discovery suggested that the couple may have intentionally attempted to mislead both law enforcement and insurance companies, casting a shadow over the veracity of their burglary report. The level of detail in these findings indicates a carefully scrutinized investigation, with authorities examining receipts, purchase histories, and social media activity to determine whether the couple was attempting to defraud insurers. In cases like this, where the alleged stolen property involves high-value items such as designer handbags, jewelry, and other luxury goods, the stakes are particularly high, not only in terms of the financial implications but also in the legal ramifications of filing false claims. Prior to the supposed burglary, the couple had already reported a personal property loss totaling $450,000 to an insurance company, a figure that is substantial by any measure and would require verification by investigators. The sheer magnitude of this amount emphasizes why authorities are approaching the case with such diligence, as any attempt to falsely claim such a sum constitutes a serious offense under the law. Wendy Osefo, widely recognized for her role on Real Housewives of Atlanta, has been a public figure since her debut on the show in its 5th season. Her presence on reality television has made her a familiar face to audiences who have followed her life, professional achievements, and personal journey over the years. However, her public persona is only one facet of her identity. Beyond the drama of television, Wendy Osefo is a highly educated and accomplished individual. She serves as a college professor at Johns Hopkins University, one of the most prestigious institutions in the United States, where she contributes to the academic development of students in her field. Her role in higher education underscores a dedication to scholarship and community engagement that contrasts sharply with the allegations she currently faces. In addition to her professorial duties, Wendy holds a PhD in Public Affairs and Community Development from Rutgers University, further solidifying her academic credibility and demonstrating a long-standing commitment to professional achievement. This combination of high-profile television work and rigorous academic involvement presents an unusual dichotomy, where a figure celebrated for intellect and community contribution is simultaneously embroiled in legal controversy. Adding to the public interest in her case, Wendy has been seen participating in cultural events, such as a recent convention in Brooklyn, New York. Appearances at such events highlight her ongoing engagement with public life and her continued presence in both academic and social spheres. These public appearances serve as reminders of her dual identity as both a television personality and an accomplished professional, making the allegations of fraud even more striking to observers who have seen her in more positive, public-facing roles. The contrast between Wendy's public persona and the accusations she now faces has fueled media coverage, social media discussions, and public debate, as audiences grapple with reconciling the image of a respected academic with claims of fraudulent activity. Questions have also arisen about Wendy's citizenship status and the potential implications this case could have regarding deportation. Wendy was born in Nigeria and immigrated to the United States at a young age, approximately 8 years old. Over time, she became a naturalized U.S. citizen, which affords her the legal protections and rights associated with citizenship, including immunity from deportation back to Nigeria. Even if found guilty of the alleged felonies related to insurance fraud, her status as a naturalized citizen ensures that she cannot be forcibly removed from the United States. This aspect of her legal standing has been highlighted in discussions about her potential consequences, distinguishing her situation from other cases where non-citizens have faced deportation as part of criminal proceedings. The protections granted by naturalized citizenship underscore the legal principle that criminal accountability and immigration consequences, while sometimes intersecting, are distinct issues, and that citizenship status provides a layer of security that cannot be overridden without compelling legal reasons. The combination of her academic prestige, television fame, and naturalized citizenship makes Wendy Osefo's case particularly complex. The ongoing investigation into the Osefo's claims, including evidence of returned purchases and discrepancies in reported stolen items, raises serious questions about the integrity of the reported losses and the possible intent to commit insurance fraud. At the same time, her public visibility and professional accomplishments add layers of scrutiny, with the media, fans, and the general public closely following developments. Observers are not only interested in the legal outcome but also in the broader implications for the reputations and careers of individuals in positions of influence, especially those who are simultaneously celebrated for intellectual and professional achievements. Wendy's situation serves as a reminder that public figures, regardless of their accomplishments or status, are subject to the same legal standards as any other citizen, and that allegations of financial misconduct can have far-reaching implications both personally and professionally. As the investigation and potential legal proceedings continue, the case draws attention to the intersections of celebrity, professional identity, and legal accountability. The Osefo situation illustrates how allegations of fraud can impact multiple dimensions of a person's life, from their career and public image to their personal and legal standing. Wendy Osefo's story, while still unfolding, highlights the challenges faced by individuals who navigate high-profile lives and the heightened scrutiny that comes with public visibility, particularly when allegations of criminal behavior are involved. In the coming months, developments in the case will likely provide more clarity on the extent of the alleged fraud, potential legal consequences, and the impact on Wendy's career, citizenship protections, and public reputation. Since Wendy Osefo is a naturalized U.S. citizen, deportation is extremely unlikely, essentially impossible unless it was discovered that her citizenship was obtained illegally, which seems doubtful. Cases like Simon Gubia, who was deported due to felonies and misrepresentation during his citizenship process, are extreme exceptions. While Wendy may avoid deportation, Her arrest makes it unlikely she will escape jail time entirely. Regardless of what happened with others, the law applies equally, and she may have to serve time for her alleged crimes. The situation is still unfolding, and updates continue to emerge as authorities proceed with the investigation. Wendy Osefo is facing 17 charges, with each one corresponding to an item she allegedly falsely reported. While some may focus on the $300+ figure, it actually qualifies her for more serious punishments, including felonies, because her total claimed loss was around $452,500, nearly $500,000. The way the charges are structured reflects the full scope of the alleged fraud. Many are wondering whether she will serve jail time or if authorities will make an example of her, though it's still too early to tell. Reports also suggest that other cast members from Real Housewives of Atlanta could be implicated, indicating that this may not be an isolated incident. Updates are expected as the investigation and legal process continue. Fans of Real Housewives of Atlanta may not be surprised by the ongoing drama surrounding Wendy Osefo, given the show's history of conflict, extravagance, and larger-than-life personalities. Reality TV often thrives on high-stakes tension and interpersonal conflict, and the lives of the cast members are constantly under the microscope of viewers and social media alike. While fans are accustomed to seeing arguments, betrayals, and unexpected twists on camera, the recent legal troubles involving Wendy Osefo bring a very real-world consequence to what might otherwise be seen as entertainment. It is one thing to have disagreements over personal issues on television, but it is an entirely different matter when criminal activity enters the picture. The law, after all, applies to everyone equally, regardless of fame, wealth, or social standing. No amount of celebrity status can exempt an individual from accountability, and this is precisely why the Osefo case is attracting so much attention. Reality TV stars may live glamorous, high-profile lives, but the legal system does not make exceptions for those who happen to appear on television or have millions of fans. Wendy Osefo, despite her public persona, is subject to the same laws as any other U.S. citizen. Regardless of personal feelings for Wendy, whether viewers admire her as a television personality, respect her professional accomplishments, or simply enjoy her appearances on Real Housewives of Atlanta, if the allegations of insurance fraud and related crimes are true, she must face the consequences. Public sentiment can often be conflicted in cases like this. On one hand, fans may feel a sense of loyalty or sympathy, particularly because Wendy has cultivated a persona of professionalism, intelligence, and charisma both on and off the screen. She is not just a reality star. She is also an accomplished academic, holding a PhD in public affairs and community development and serving as a college professor at a prestigious institution. This dual identity, as both a television personality and a respected educator, adds layers of complexity to how the public perceives her alleged actions. Supporters may be inclined to defend her, citing her educational achievements, contributions to her community, and her role as a mother. Yet, the seriousness of the allegations, which involve tens of thousands of dollars in fraudulent claims, cannot be ignored simply because of her accomplishments or public image. Accountability remains central to maintaining trust in both the legal system and society as a whole, and that principle applies no matter the individual's status. Some reports indicate that Eddie Osefo, Wendy's husband, may have been a central figure in orchestrating much of the scheme. This brings up the question of responsibility within family dynamics and partnerships. While speculation abounds about whether Eddie was the mastermind behind the alleged fraud, history has shown that involvement of a spouse or partner does not absolve an individual of accountability. High-profile cases, such as that of Teresa Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey, illustrate that even when a spouse is deeply involved in illegal activity, each person is still responsible for their actions under the law. Teresa Giudice served prison time for her convictions despite the fact that many viewed her husband Joe's actions as a significant factor in the circumstances leading to her charges. Similarly, in Wendy Osefo's case, whether Eddie played a larger role or not, Wendy herself is facing multiple charges, and the legal system will hold her accountable based on the evidence and the law. This highlights the broader principle that personal relationships, alliances, or public personas do not shield anyone from justice. The situation continues to develop, with authorities pursuing thorough investigations, collecting evidence, and coordinating across multiple legal and insurance entities. This has drawn widespread attention not only because of Wendy's status as a reality TV star but also because of the amount of money involved and the apparent sophistication of the alleged scheme. The total claimed loss associated with the alleged fraud is substantial, reaching nearly $500,000, which elevates the seriousness of the charges and the potential consequences if convictions are secured. Public opinion remains divided. Many viewers and commentators are curious to see how the legal process will unfold, debating questions such as whether Wendy will receive a lenient sentence, whether she will serve jail time, and how this case might impact her career, reputation, and personal life moving forward. Some fans argue that her public profile might lead authorities to make an example of her, while others believe that the legal process will follow standard procedures and that fame should neither mitigate nor exacerbate the outcome. The case also raises broader societal questions about how the law treats high-profile individuals and the visibility of crimes committed by those in the public eye. While ordinary citizens may commit similar offenses without media scrutiny, public figures like Wendy Osefo are subjected to intense attention, analysis, and speculation from fans, journalists, and social media commentators alike. This attention can influence public perception, create pressure on legal proceedings, and amplify the consequences of alleged actions, both legally and socially. The ongoing debate about justice, fairness, and accountability in high-profile cases illustrates that celebrity status comes with both privileges and responsibilities. It reinforces the idea that no one, regardless of wealth, fame, or social standing, is above the law. Ultimately, fans, critics, and the general public are watching closely, waiting for more information to emerge as the case progresses. Whether Wendy Osefo will face jail time, fines, or other legal penalties remains uncertain, but the principles at stake, accountability, fairness, and the rule of law, are clear. This situation is a reminder that criminal allegations have serious real-world consequences, far beyond the drama of reality television, and that everyone, from reality stars to ordinary citizens, must answer for their actions under the law. As the investigation continues, public opinion will likely remain divided, with some defending Wendy, some criticizing her, and many simply observing to see how justice is ultimately served.